We are still exploring the migration story of the Anglo people. So far, we know there are 3 narrations, and the most prominent is the one about Anokye. But there's more. Did you know Komfo Anokye was an Ewe? But the story about that and the makeup of the Anglo state will feature in this edition of People and Places. My name is Wanda Hagan. Welcome back. This is People and Places, and in the last episode we were speaking to our resource person, Togbi Kumasa, who is the Agbotadria of the Togbi Te Agbozo stew. He was telling us about the migration story of the Anglos. He spoke about 3 accounts of how they moved to settle on their present lands. Togbi, from our last conversation, you spoke about twins, Togbi Chali and Togbi Chala, who had a role to play in the migration of the Anglos.
Yeah, Togbi, Chali and Chala were the sons of Aklomada. Their father was called Aklomada. And the brother of Togbi Chali is Do Dala. In Anglo, if you have a twin and they have the next to be a boy or a son, it's called Do.
Do, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to Chama today, there is Dala Nini, Do Dala Nini is 2 in Chama.
Okay.
That proves that there was a man called Chali. Their father was Aklomada.
Okay.
And Aklomada's father was Gamadra. And Gamadra was Kuboka. So Kuboka gave birth to Gamadra. And Gamadra gave birth to Aklomada. And Aklomada gave birth to Chali and Chala. And their brother Do. So Chala, as a twin brother, he was also a mystic, and a herbalist. He didn't follow the migrating group to Anglo, but he left the Dogbo in Ngoche and went to Awukugwa in Akwapim area.
Was it during the period he was asked to go and spy on lands?
No, it was Sally was asked to spy, but the twin brother,
he just left on his own.
He left on his own to Awukugwa.
Okay.
And he went there because when he was there, the Awukugwa Hini heard of him. He was a herbalist, so he was there treating people. And so when somebody in the court of the Awukugwa Hini got sick, they sent for him.
Okay.
And the ease where how he treated the sick person marveled the king. So he asked him to be part of the king's court.
Okay.
So he was there when Osetutu came to settle or to visit the Awukugwa Hini. And he saw how Salah was performing his treatment. So when Obiri Ebua died, and Osetutu had to return to become the next king of Ashanti, he asked him to follow him.
Okay.
Yeah, so Salah conferred with Afan. He always have a cycle. Why is the Afan? And then the Afan allowed him to go. So he followed him to help him found the Asante Kingdom. The first thing he did was to found...
That was Togbi Chala.
Yeah. The first thing he did was to help him found the capital of the newly formed Ashanti Kingdom. According to the story, they planted trees at 3 various spots.
Yeah.
One was at Kumau, and one at Kumasi, and the third one too. Now, the one at Kumau died, but the second one flourished, but it could not bear fruit. But the one which was in Kumasi flourished and bore fruits. And so Tsala advised him to make Kumasi the capital of the new Ashanti Kingdom.
Okay. At this point, we know Chala is kind of a close associate of Osei Tutu.
Yeah.
But was his name changed, or was he still called Chala?
His name was now changed Komfo from Anokye.
Komfo from Anokye, as in a priest from Anokye.
Komfo from Anokye became Komfo Anokye.
So, from what you're saying, Komfo Anokye that we know from the Asante story,
yes,
is an Ewe.
It's an Ewe.
Originally.
Yes. Even if you look at the way he dressed, he had this raffia on his knees, and he was in a short skirt.
Skirt line.
Yeah. And then he has also a band across his body. The Akans don't dress like that. The raffia is a symbol of one of the deities in our area here. So the way he dressed also gave us proof that he was one of us. Now, we were told how he helped them with the stool, how he fortified the stool, how he made all the chiefs bury their souls in the stool. So the stool was very powerful in Ashanti.
Okay.
Now, he did the same thing to the Sri in Anokye.
So they did that before he left?
Okay. Before he left.
Okay.
So it wasn't something new for him.
Okay, that's about Chala, who now we know became Komfo Anokye.
Yeah.
But how about his twin brother?
His twin brother,
Charlie, who helped the people escape.
Yes. So he came with them. But he sometimes vanished and then returned. Because when he left them at Sevier, when he came, the people tried to rebel against their leaders, that they wanted to return to Anokye. But when he knew that it was hunger that was causing them to desire to return, he was carrying a haversack, and there were some grains in the house. He took a grain and he just spread it. And within a very short time, the maize grew, and then the people harvested the grain just on the same day. And then he caused 2 granites. And the granites came, they used it to grind the maize into powder.
Oh.
And then he disappeared again. Now, in every land, wherever he settled, he left marks to show that he was once there. And when he was of age, even when he came here, he settled in Tomu area. And he started to farm. Now, he caused rain to fall only on his farm. And the people became annoyed. And they caught him, tied a big granite on his back, and put in the Volta River.
That's
Charlie. Yeah. But the next day, they found him riding on the back of a crocodile and holding the granite.
Wow.
And he said, "Children, see your man." So he rode on that back of that crocodile to enter the Kita Lagoon here. You know, the Volta River has a distributary which passes through Savietula and enter the Kita Lagoon. The granite on his back is still near Sava. And it's a mobile granite. Sometimes you find it here, another time you find it.
It moves?
Yeah, it moves.
In the same town?
Yes. It's in the lagoon, in the Kita Lagoon.
Oh.
Now, if you go to Anyako, there is another settlement called Sava. So the granite I saw it. When the lagoon dried up, I saw it on the floor of the lagoon. Now, from there, he went to Chama. It was Chama where he really settled. So if you go to Chama now, you will find his stool, where he was made a chief. You can find a saucepan, where he sometimes settled to fly. And then it was from there. Yes. He sometimes disappeared.
He didn't only vanish, but he also flew.
Yes.
Like he turned into a bird?
No, he sat on the saucepan, and then like a plane,
he just flies
wherever he wanted to go. Now, when he wanted to vanish formally, he came to V here.
No.
And planted. If you go to V now, you find some 7 agor beans. he planted them. It was here he crossed the sandbar to the coast, and he called the faithful crocodile, and he took him to eternity.
The same crocodile.
Yes. So before he left, he taught the people how to invoke his spirit. So whenever they are performing rites for him, they call him by that name, and he appeared. But when he came to church, he got even married.
After he formally left?
Before he left.
Before he formally left.
Now there is a forest in near Nyako. He has a shrine there, and then his wife stays in that forest. Now in Anglo, now there is a clan that belongs to his line.
His people.
His
Okay,
line,
we can see that.
People descended from him.
But did his people actually see him flying?
Yes.
They did.
Yes. And when he left, the people saw him left. He didn't die the natural death that. Those are the people, they are the sages of the Anglo people. And they are still with us. When you invoke their spirit, they manifest. Not like us, but you know that the person you are calling is present in your midst. Yeah.
We want to go into a conversation about the smaller states under the Anglo states. But before we do that, we want to understand where the term or the name Anglo came from.
Yeah, you recall that Vanya was the leader of the migrating Anglo people.
Yeah.
So from Kata, from Keji to Kata to Tebi, then they went to Dudu before finally going to Anglonga. Now when they reached Anglonga, he told the people he was very, very old and he could not travel any longer. That he has coiled. You know, when you grow old, you bend.
Yeah.
So he told them he has coiled. So Ngolo means coil. You can fold mat, Nangloba. But another meaning to Ngolo is write. To write, Ngolonu, to write. So it was believed that the scribes of ancient Hebrews were the Anglo people. They are the Anglo people.
Really?
They are the scribes. So either you look at it as the form of the scribes.
So this also has two versions?
Yeah, two versions.
Okay.
Ngolo. Ngolo. I'm telling you because you may come across another versions and they say, I thought we didn't say this. Why is it that another version of Ngolo, which means the scribes of the ancient Hebrews? Yeah.
Okay. We'll take a quick break and return to learn more about the various states under the Anglo state.
We table issues relating to the arts and entertainment for a riveting discussion, of course, without fear nor favor.
The question the presenter asked them was a dumb question. You need to speak the fact and move.
Varied views. We agree to disagree.
So I would disagree with everything you said. I think that he's a smart guy. I think what he
No,
did.
but I also said he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I guess that I'm waiting for the what next. To the
I
answer.
don't think that we have to wait for what next.
It sometimes gets confrontational, but that's the beauty of the game.
Today you're funny face.
It's not my brother.
Today funny face.
I don't know him.
You don't know funny face.
It's not my brother.
You don't know funny face.
Humor, we've got you covered.
Me from TV3 incident, you know, to you see me na me face a plan. Me who say be for me who say as a plan here. Ah, because I say back from my TV3 buy ya boom.
Yeah.
Na ko YouTube ya me patcho. O patcho say. O patcho. Obiabo.
It's a package. We meet, we sit, we dialogue, we learn, we progress. My name is Benefo Boabin Abrantepa, a proud blogger, and this is my forum.
Welcome back. we are speaking to Togbi Kumasa. He's going to tell us about the makeup of the Anglo states. Togbi, how many states are under the Anglo states?
There are 36.
36.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes.
Okay. How did all of these come up?
Now, when they settled in Anglo, because the leader said he has quarreled, he could not move. Hunters among them continued to migrate from Anglo to found the other settlements.
Okay.
In fact, before they moved out, the consolidation of the state was done at a place called Agovon.
Okay.
It was there that all the injunctions, all the laws that would govern the Anglo state were established. That is why certain things which are taboos in Anglo are not taboos in other states. Now, if you go to Agovon, it was just like what happened when the Hebrews reached Sinai, when Moses went up the mountain and wrote the 10 Commandments and came to read to them, and everyone agreed to obey. When they reached Anglo at Agovon, Vanya also read to them all the injunctions that would govern the Anglo state. It was there that he told them one man cannot marry two sisters.
Okay.
And also that one sister cannot allow two brothers to go into them.
So that's like the Ewe version, the Anglo version of the 10 Commandments.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was also there that they were told if you are a wife, you must be faithful, because your husband will establish the house. And if you are not faithful, if you go and come back, you become mad. Now they dug a hole and all these things were said. They put some herbs. And when all these things were said and people agreed, they slaughter ram, pour the blood on the herbs, cover it, and erect a mound, Langma, called Toli, there. If you go to Anglo now, you see the Toli.
Okay.
Then there is also another old shell of a sea turtle. That is used when people here are having juju against one another. And everyone realize that that juju is not very helpful to the community. For example, there was a time the women made a juju which will make the men bear the pain of pregnancy and delivery.
Really?
Yeah, so if the woman is at the point of labor, about to deliver, it is the man who suffer the pain. But the men realize that this thing, if it continues, they will not have many children because the pain was unbearable. So that juju was made dysfunctional. And there was another juju, if I like you now, I'll not talk to you. I'll just say the word, then you run into my room and lie on my bed. But also that was like forced marriage, because if the spell breaks, then the woman become annoyed with the man. Where there was no love. So if you go to Agovonu now, you have the grave of the founder, Togbi Panya. It's also there.
Okay, that is a landmark, and we'll come to that conversation.
Yeah.
But the 36 states.
Yeah. So I'll mention them.
Exactly.
In the west, you have the Volta River as a boundary between Anglo and Adan. Then the major town there is Anyangu. It's a major town. And Anyangu is surrounded by other smaller settlements, like Tunu, Bomigo. Now from there, you come to Jita. It's also another settlement.
That's 3.
Then you come to Atoko.
Okay.
Atoko is also another.
Okay.
Then Strongway.
Okay.
Then Vuti. Then Anglogan. Then Way. Then from Way you come to Tegbi.
Tegbi.
Okay. Then you come to Jericho. Then you come to Kata. Then you come to Vozan. Then you come to Keji. Then you come to Blekusu, Hobi. Then you come to Adina. Then you come to Den, Aplau, Soma. Then you go to Kliko. And then you go to Apipa. Then Wata. Then you go to Poigny, Jodze. Then you come to the Ave areas. Then Ave Havi. First Ave Heavy, which is also called Atagba. Then you go to Ave Afiaranigba.
Afiaranigba. That's I've heard of.
Yeah. Ave Afiaranigba. Then Ave Havi. Then from Havi, then you come to Aveno. Then we have our people. Then Anglo Afiaranigba. Then Anyako Konu. Then Seva. They have Abolova Ngonofi. Then you have a TRV. Then you go to the Shime area, you have Tregui. And then you have Galosota. And then Agote. So then you come to Alakpele, Koji. So you know there were some 36 towns. I can't remember all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So they form the Anglo state.
Okay.
But even between that you have divisions. They are the major towns with paramount chiefs. For example, we have Anglo Kukwakama.
Okay.
That is where the Awamafia resides. The Awamafia is not a paramount chief, it's a king. And he took the Awamafia title. When Agokoli got to know that they escaped, here there were some problems because they left without taking the stool. The stool was still left in Noche because they escaped by night.
Yeah.
So when they came here, the need for the stool emerged and they had to go and bring the stool. So Togbisri asked the sons to go, but their mother refused. They knew that since they escaped, if the sons go, they'll kill them. So they had to ask the sisters
to go instead.
The sister's son. So Kokui's son and Abui's son. Kokui's son was Adalaza and Abui's son was Togolo. So these two people went to Mochi. Now when they went, they met Togbe Kokoli and he asked for Togbisri. He said he wanted to see him before he would give out the stool.
Okay.
But they knew that if Togbisri went back, he may kill him. Because the version from the Noche people was that it was Sri and Agokoli's son who were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sri's son disappeared. And they said it was Agokoli's son who killed Sri's son. That's the version from, as a intellect, you must give the other side of the story too. So they killed Agokoli's son. Later on they learned that Sri's son was not dead.
Oh, okay.
So Sri knew if he returned, they would surely kill him. That's why he sent his nephews. When they went, they told Agokoli that Sri was dead, but he didn't believe them because of the earlier thing. So he sent spies to come and find out whether Sri was actually dead.
Okay.
When they came, they had to hide Sri. So Awamafia means a chief in seclusion. Okay. So when they came, they made it taboo for anybody to reveal to the spies that Sri was alive. So he was referred to as Awamafia, not Togbisri.
What does it literally mean?
That is a chief in seclusion or in a hiding place.
Okay.
Awama means a hidden place, a hideout. So a chief in a hideout. Awamafia. Fia means king, a chief or king. So it was even that the appellation, Anglo Godolevi, Dino Masamanya. You stay in the town, but you will not understand. So these people stay for about 3 months.
And
all that they didn't
find
see,
him.
they only heard that he was dead. Because when they went to make Agokoli believe he was dead, there was a man, one of the slaves, whose son was that of like that of Sri. Sri's hand was white spots.
Okay.
So when they were sending him, on the way they killed him, I took the hand to Agokoli that when they were coming, Sri was not feeling well, so he died. But they brought the hand for him to confirm that he died.
He had white spots on his hand.
Yes, there are some people, they find white, the skin got spotted. White here, black here, white here, black. Like mulattoes. He had that on him. So when he saw the hand, he knew that was what his hand was. So you know, the Anglos play a lot of rules and those things. And that made people fear them. They don't, because when I tell you something, you don't know whether what do I say is the real truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll come in. We'll come to the Awomefia and everything about it.
Okay.
But for now, we want to know who is the founder of the Anglo Kingdom.
It's Vanya.
Vanya.
Yes. He gave the name that he has quarreled. He could not move further. So he's a Mangro, and Mangro is the name given to the state as Anglo, and the traditional capital, Anglo.
So how?
Vanya is the founder of the state.
Okay. How do the states, the 36 states, how do they work with each other? How is their relation like? Do they have issues with each other? Do they work together as neighbors?
Now the experience they had in Ngoche, with one king ruling over them, still lives with them. So when they came here, certain like Aflau, they have their paramount chief. Soma, they had their paramount chief. Wata, then Apipa. So there are 13 paramounts under the Awomefia. But the settlements were 36. So some were amalgamated. For every talk of Aveno, you have Achama is also part of Aveno. Achama also has its own paramount chief. And Aveno also has its own paramount chief. But all of them are members of the Anglo Traditional Council. So that's how they come together again, under the Awomefia.
Okay.
Yeah. The Awomefia is the president of the Anglo Traditional Council. And the council is made of the paramount chiefs of those areas.
Okay. I know, for example, that there's the Asogli chief, who is Togbe Afete.
Yeah.
And then there's the Awomefia.
Yeah.
How do I understand that Togbe Afete is the head of a state.
Yeah, of the Asogli state. Yeah, he's
so
the paramount chief of the Asogli state.
How does it work? Are they all under the Awomefia, or they have their various roles?
Now, when they broke from Chevier, each went to establish his own state and run that state as his own state. So, Togbe Afete is the king of the Asogli state. Togbe Gabusu is the Akpini state. So, also the Peki. Then the Anglos too. And then we have the Tongu people, they also have their paramounts. So the relationship between them is the Volta Regional House of Chiefs.
Okay, but they are not, so the Asogli state is not an Anglo state?
No, it's a
state of its own.
Because they all Ewe, you see, the common, they are all Ewes.
Okay.
But they are Ewes, but they have different names. Because of circumstances surrounding their establishment. Togbe Aso is at the Asogli state. So his descendants are the paramount chiefs or the kings of the Asogli state. Togbe Fanya also established the Anglo state. And the descendants of Togbe Fanya also are the kings of the Anglo state. The same for Togbe Fla, the Aflau state.
Okay.
That is how they, and then if you go to those, they have their paramount chief, and that state belongs to the state. But they are all part of the Anglo Traditional Council.
Okay, but not the Anglo states.
No,
the Anglo Traditional Council is different from the Anglo state.
No, where we are is Anglo Kukwa Kama.
Okay.
But the Anglo Traditional area of the Anglo state comprises a people, Aflau, Wata, Bani, Jodze, Ava Heavy, Ava Ferimba, Ava Habi, Aveno. Those paramounts.
Those are the same as the 36.
No, the 36 states
are different.
No, they're not different. They are under, because if you mention Kata now, Kata has sub settlements.
Okay.
Under Kata.
Okay.
If you talk of Jodze now, there are various states or settlements that come under Jodze. But among the 36 states, there are paramount states or paramount settlements. And it is those paramount settlements which are the paramount chiefs.
Okay.
You have to talk about Aflau now, you have Roba, so many settlements come under Aflau.
Briefly before we end this episode, let's talk about the clan system of Everest.
Yeah.
How does that work? How many clans do you have?
In Anglo?
Yes.
We have 15.
15 clans?
Yes.
Only under the Anglo state?
Yes.
Okay.
When we go to Aveno, they also have their clans.
Their clans.
Now, clan is a generic clan is, the every word for clan is blood.
Okay.
Blood. So the people who descended from the same male ancestor belong to one clan. Brother Vanya, the clan is Lopao. If somebody is a Lopa man or woman, he might descended from Vanya.
No.
If the person is Agavao, he might descend from Aga. The Aga there.
The various leaders.
No, the Aga who was.
Yes, who was.
Yeah, his descendants are the Agavao.
Okay.
Atazanyaki, the descendants are Amladao.
But how are the clans formed?
Now, when they came here, they realized that the state must be organized so that they have specific functions to perform. Now, we have the ancestor who started the clan system was called Kubwaka.
Okay.
So Kubwaka had a son called Gamadra. And Gamadra, his children, Atu and Etse, and Atu is Vanya, Tese Atazanyaki. The two, their sister is Asongwe. That Asongwe also had Bone, that is Sri. And all the people descended from Sri and the brothers are Azovia clan.
Okay.
And they are those who provide us with the Aomafia.
Okay.
Then Bone had a sister called Kokwi. And Kokwi had a son called Adalaza. So Adalaza had the Bata clan. So anybody who descends from Adalaza line is the Bata clan. They are the other Aomafia making king. Then he also had another sister called Abi. Abi had a son called Atogolo. So they have the Like clan. So my wife is a Like woman. So she descends from Atogolo. I'm an Agava man, so I descend from Agava. So the 15 clans, they all one ancestor.
Okay.
A male ancestor. But we have strangers also. People from Adam, the Gans, they also have one clan. We call them Blow. Blow means mixture.
Okay.
Because they don't come from one area. So, because some of them settle here for a very long time. So they also have chiefs among us. Like Tommy Bozo, the Dushifiaga of Way, the Dushifiaga of Anglo State, not Way. The Dushifiaga of Anglo State is a blue chief. Then Toby Tiago is also a blue clan because our ancestors come from Ghana, Dagbe area before settling. So the various clans, they have one ancestor or two ancestors who are brothers. That's how the clans are established here.
Thank you, Togbi, for enlightening us about the migration story. We'll be moving to the next episode, which will focus on religion, customs, traditions, staple foods of the Anglo people. Another interesting episode you should look out for. But until then, my name is Wanda Amihegan, and this is People and Places.